I'm Lacey. This is Coffee and Content, the weekly live stream about video live streaming and content creation. Today we're going out on LinkedIn Live, we're going out on Facebook, and we're going out on YouTube. If you're joining me live, let me know where you're coming to me from within the chat. I'd love to hear from you. Today we're talking about video meetings, but before we do that, this is Coffee and Content, and it would be incomplete without a little bit of coffee, so let's enjoy some right now. I hope you've had a great week, and I hope you're gearing up for a good weekend as well. Today we're talking about video meetings. So we need to talk about video meetings. They're kind of the bane of the existence of many of us, unfortunately, but they can be important. So we do need to think about how we're using them and to make sure that we're using them well. So, the first thing I want to suggest is, and this might be a little bit controversial, but are meetings the enemy of work? Unless you're being paid to have meetings, meetings probably don't represent the core of your work. You probably know someone who has too many meetings and isn't able to get anything of substance done. Perhaps you know them quite intimately. And if this is you, stay tuned for some tips on setting some boundaries. What is your core work or core business? What actually moves the needle? What does your job description actually say? What are your key performance indicators? Sometimes meetings can be important. Sometimes you need some input or discussion to help make decisions about the direction of your work. But focus is everything. Does this need to be a meeting? Could it have been an email? Meetings are an opportunity to gain feedback, express opinions, and establish priorities. If you're just issuing demands or reminders, you probably should have just sent an email or text message. Consider, what is the purpose of the meeting? What do you hope to get out of it? How will you know if it was a success? Is it focused around a single topic or a small number of topics? How will you manage out-of-scope topics when they crop up? So if you were one of those people that unfortunately is in a world of meetings and not able to get anything done, let's talk about setting some boundaries and reclaiming your time. Some people really like to talk. There's a good chance if you know such people, they will want to fill your calendar with meetings. But as we've established already, meetings can be the enemy of work. So how do you set up boundaries? Does the meeting have an agenda? If there isn't one, the meeting is likely to be unfocused. Do you need to be there? If not, politely decline. Are you the most representative person of your team to attend? Email, notifications, and calls can take you out of the flow of deep work. Establish some parameters around how and when you will check these things. Obviously, this is a show about video, live streaming, content creation, so we do want to focus particularly on the video and audio aspects. So how are you showing up on camera and on microphone? What do you actually look like and sound like when you attend meetings? Can people see you clearly, or are you peering out from the shadows? Consider facing a light source. This could be a window. It could be as simple as a desk lamp, or if you want to get more elaborate, there are things like the Elgato key lights that you can use. Where is the camera actually positioned? Are you looking down on people? Are they looking up your nose, which is potentially even worse? Are you in the frame at all? Laptop web cameras can be notoriously stuck in place and difficult to reposition. But if you're using literally anything else, make sure you think about where you're positioning your camera. And this is a time where I love to talk about my fondness for desktop tripods, mini tripods. They can be so incredibly useful in terms of establishing where you want the camera to be and what you want it to be pointed at. If you don't have any, they're relatively cheap. Consider going out and buying one. But equally, what can you improvise with? What do you have lying around? In a former job, I actually used a whole stack of old textbooks as a microphone stand. It was scrappy, of course, but it got the job done. What can you use in your office? What's actually in your background? Is your background busy and distracting? Is your boss going to see that voodoo likeness of them on the bookshelf behind you? Is there a heap of clutter? Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, Zoom, and other platforms have the ability to use virtual backgrounds or blur your backgrounds. You can physically curate how the background looks by rearranging furniture and making sure that your space is tidy. You might like to consider the use of a green screen and chroma key if you want complete flexibility in your setup. You might like to use OBS Studio's virtual camera option to adjust how your web camera looks on programs like Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and Zoom. This is also a great opportunity to incorporate branding elements such as colors, logos, and fonts. Are you dressed for the occasion? Roxette urged us to dress for success. Now, what this might actually look like will probably depend a little bit on your industry, your business, and work culture, but making a little effort can make a real difference. We've all experienced this. For some of us, it's an everyday occurrence. Someone in your meeting is talking incessantly and doesn't know they're on mute. It's easy enough to do, but it can make you look bad and it can induce rage in your co-workers. Chronic face palming is a real condition. Look it up. To toggle mute on Microsoft Teams and Zoom, you can use the keyboard shortcut Control-Shift and M. To do the same on Google Meet, you can go Control-D. Of course, if you have a Elgato Stream Deck, this is a great opportunity to create a button to mute yourself on whatever platforms you're using. Go to the Stream Deck application, find the hotkey option from the system category, drag it onto one of these empty spots. We can give this a title. I'll call this one Mute. If you click down to where it says hotkey, it'll start observing your keystrokes. So I'll go Control-Shift-M and we're good to go. Now, whenever I want to mute or toggle mute, so mute or unmute myself, depending on the existing status of my sound input, my audio input, my microphone, I can sort of click that button on the Stream Deck. Optionally, you can actually come in here and set a different icon for that as well, if you like. So that can be incredibly useful. So these have been some of the tips that I sort of recommend for making video meetings a little bit more palatable. Make sure you're staying on topic and make sure that you're presenting well and showing up well. So again, this is Coffee and Content. I'm John Lacey. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to enjoy some more coffee because that's what we do. It's all about the caffeine. I hope you've had a great week, and I hope you're gearing up for a great weekend. Next week on the live stream, I'm going to be answering your OBS Studio questions. So if you've got any questions at all about OBS Studio, get them to me. If you want to, you can go to johnlacey.com and actually use the speak pipe option to record an audio message, and I can answer that one there. Or alternatively, just leave a comment on this video wherever you happen to be watching it. So that is what we wanted to cover today. So have a great week, have a great weekend. Make sure you show up consciously when you are on a video meeting. Make sure they're focused. Make sure you're looking as good as you can, and that you're not hiding in the shadows, and that people can hear you clearly, because it's really important in terms of getting your message across and actually appearing to have some authority. So have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon.